So today is the day of the 2024 preview event for Sea of Thieves. So in this video, we're going to go over everything they went over, have some live talking points, and just see what is happening in this game and if it's actually going to blow up this year. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it. Right now, we're going to go over everything they showed very quickly, and we're just going to go over everything briefly. Then at the end of the video, I will have basically me reacting to the whole thing all by itself. But first things first, they're releasing 2 new weapons in Season 12. This comes with a double barrel pistol and the throwing knife. You can either shoot one shot, the other shot, or both shots at the same time to get the most damage possible. This can basically be a really good secondary. You also have a throwing knife, which you can use to stab, which does little damage. You can charge a stab, which does more damage, or you can throw the knife and actually retrieve it. So if an enemy throws a knife at you, you can pick up their knife and throw it right back at them. So that's a very cool feature to have in the game, something to think about. They're also releasing 3 brand new utility items, which come in the scatter shot, bone collar, and the wind collar. This you're seeing right here is the scatter shot. It's essentially like that one bird in Angry Bird where you touch the screen and it separates into 3, which is pretty cool. That'll basically make the enemy ship have a ton of holes. Next, you have the bone collar, which is something you throw or you can launch out of a cannon. It spawns friendly skeletons for you and your crew. So essentially, if you're a solo player, you have someone with you now. These skeletons won't be too tough, but they'll be good enough to help you in your way. The last thing we have is the wind collar. This can blow more wind into your sails to get you going even faster. This can blow people off of ledges, just like you see here, and this can help you traverse water very quickly, especially by yourself or on a rowboat even. This can help change the game drastically and help speed things up a bit. Also, something very cool about it is that it can blow out fire. Just something that I didn't even think about, but it'll be really cool. You can also stop your fall damage, so essentially you won't take fall damage again in this game. They also are releasing zip lines and adding them to various islands. You can zip with treasure on your back, which is very cool. Didn't expect that. And now we have something even cooler, which is when you harpoon, you can walk on harpoons. You can walk on the line, something we've always talked about. If you're going down, you can slide down it. If something's too steep, you can't climb up it. So it has to be just the right angle for you to be able to balance on it. But this opens up so many different pathways. Look at them walking across the line. This is going to be one of the greatest updates Sea of Thieves has had for a long time. Also, they spoke on having a designated dev team for some quick issues that happen, so they just have someone that can attack issues right away. But next thing is Season 13. Flameheart is officially back, and this comes with the coolest thing I have ever seen in Sea of Thieves. This is called the Burning Blade, and it's not just a picture, it's a ship. This is a world event that's player run. So first it starts off AI run, and then once you beat the AI, you take over the ship, pledge yourself to the ship, and then you are the world event, and you have to go around the world exploring different islands, completing different puzzles, and the ship has a front-facing flamethrower. The first time we've ever seen this. If you've watched Pirates of the Caribbean, you'd be geeking out just like me right now, but this essentially makes it so you travel the world, figure out different puzzles, and your goal is to get something called the Orb of Secrets, and that's what it was right there. Essentially, it's like an hourglass, so the more you do, the higher the price goes, and you can choose when to end your quest. In Season 14, this is very long down the line. They don't have many pictures, any pictures really, but essentially this is the Season of Mischievous. They are thinking of adding certain things like blow darts, which when you blow a dart, it can make a sound like someone climbing up a ladder. You can make a sound of your mask going down, of your helm breaking, of just something bad happening, and it can lead to a ton of different things. They're also adding a harpoon gun, or they should be adding a harpoon gun. I don't personally like it. I think it's a little too broken. It makes it so you can, grabbing treasure is really awesome. But if you're a solo player and you have a galleon that jumps off their ship and just harpoons onto your ship, you can see where my problem lies. I think the only way to get onto a ship should be either a deck shot or by climbing on the ladder. I think that's more than enough ways to get on your ship. But now I'm going to play the full live stream with my reaction. So if you just wanted a quick glimpse of what's coming, you got it. And now enjoy the absolute full live stream with my reactions.
2024 preview event, where we're going to give you your first look at some of the exciting features coming to Sea of Thieves this year. We're going to share information around what's coming in Seasons 12 and 13, as well as even further into the future, with a sneak peek behind the curtain on Season 14.
What is going on
grab a
there?
grog and get ready for adventure as we reveal some of the incredible bounty
Wow,
features
okay.
headed to Sea of Thieves in 2024.
They already got some cool features. We already saw a grapple hook, a zip line, and we also saw, if you're fighting a skeleton fleet,
Sea of Thieves is a pirate
they spawn on your ship.
adventure game where players create those stories together. And in the world of Sea of Thieves, there are tools and items that may seem simple on the surface, but when they're in the hands of real players who are playing in their own way and bringing their creativity, it really showcases that the sandbox is more than the sum of its parts as it creates these memorable stories.
This year, in 2024, our focus is on giving you more tools,
Yes.
more possibilities.
Perfect.
And with that freedom out on the waves, give you the possibilities to have these amazing moments and really changing up the core moment-to-moment gameplay of the sandbox.
That is what we all wanted to hear, boys. Here we go, season 12. Let's go. Next season.
The kind of main aims for Season 12 are about mixing up the meta and how players enjoy all of the different aspects of Sea of Thieves.
New weapons,
so as part of
please.
Season 12, we're going to be adding 2 new weapons
Oh
and
my
2
God.
new tools for players to use.
Wow.
An area we haven't really delved into since launch is adding new weapons to the game.
New weapons
that
confirmed.
give you new tactical choices and strategies out there on your adventures. So in Season 12, we're going to be adding the double barrel pistol and throwing knives.
The double barrel flintlock is a new type of pistol weapon where you can fire 2 shots individually before you reload, or you can charge them together and release them at once for a more powerful shot.
I mean, it's
We
something.
wanted to kind of create this new
A
weapon
throwing
archetype
knife?
that's a bit shorter range, but a faster fire rate, but perhaps not as powerful or damaging as the flintlock pistol. But then it has those kind of
Okay, this is-
like qualities as well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
I mean, that's fine. You know, this is a solid weapon to have.
With another weapon like the cutlass, for example, for a finishing blow, can lead to a fast time to kill for a player to be able to quickly take down a target.
I mean, at least they're giving us something. The throwing knife is a little crazy. I don't know. Depends how OP it
also
is.
brings in the throwing knife
Let's see.
as a weapon. Now, these can be used as a melee item. They have a light and a heavy melee action, but they can also be thrown and used at range as well.
You can use it to kind of like stab players with like a quick attack, but that doesn't do much damage. Or you can charge it to like pull it into this kind of more dangerous stabbing motion. That'll slow the player's movement down and give this like really high damage attack for if you like sneak up behind players.
Okay, so like
And then
sneaky
finally,
stuff.
It has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which again kind of feels like a trick shot, and it'll do a lot of damage as well.
When
Does a
you
lot of
throw
damage.
A throwing knife, and if you miss, you can actually go in the world and it'll stick into any of the geometry, and you can just pull it out, and then it'll replenish your ammo. So I think personally, for me, this is really good because sometimes I miss, as I'm sure some of us do. So you can then just go ahead and pick it up again.
So you get these wonderful moments where a pirate might throw a knife at you, but then you can retrieve that knife and throw it back to them.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it'll
That's actually
really
cool.
mix up the kind of combat scenarios you can expect.
I
out in
don't
the
think
world
people
and when
will
boarding
use it a
the
lot,
ships.
but that's a very cool
There
thing.
are 3 new tools in Season 12, the Wind Caller, the Scatter Shot, and the Bone Caller.
With the
What?
scatter shot, the
Scatter?
way that it's different to a standard cannonball is it's a collection of 4 cannonballs, but they're
Wow.
much smaller. They have a much shorter fall off in range
Ah.
and a really wide spread, allowing you to
Okay.
hit a target with
So if they're
multiple
really
projectiles
close,
at the same
you
time.
essentially just
Really
use scatters.
Small amounts of damage to the ship.
Very
It's
cool.
like a level 1 size hole, so like really quick for players to repair, but it can kind of overwhelm a crew quite quickly.
Basically, if you get up close with the scatter shot and
You're
can get a few onto your enemy, they're going to have a lot of holes and they're going to have a pretty bad time.
okay.
What it will do is really eat up an opponent's resources. They'd need to use more wood to repair the many holes that the scatter shot puts into the hull.
Gotcha. So a scatter is good for keeping the pressure
Bone
on.
Caller is an awesome new throwable that players can
What
wield,
is this?
and they can throw that on the floor, and when it smashes, all these kind of bones come out, and then skeletons spawn around the player in allegiance to them, and they'll actually fight beside the player against enemy
In
players and
allegiance?
enemy AI.
Now you might not be going straight for just a normal cannonball or a chain
That's
shot. You
crazy.
might, in fact, go straight for the bone caller, so you can have some skellies that are on your side on that ship.
So
sort of messing
skellies
things up for
spawn
that
on
crew.
their
You could use
ship?
fire to fight fire. So if somebody
Wow.
shoots a bone caller across the sea at your ship and they spawn
That's
in,
crazy.
you have your own bone caller, you could throw that down on the deck and have your own skellies go and fight those.
Okay, so
to take
essentially,
them
this
out
is
for you
just
so
to
that you don't have to.
all
I
everything they're
mostly play
adding
solo,
is to
and
keep
be able
pressure.
to spawn literally anything that is friendly to my cause while I'm playing is a massive positive. So
This
I'm
is
kinda
really good
looking
for
forward to
solo
that,
players
and
as
I'm
well. You
sure
have
that other
to
players will find ways to make
you
use
have
of
to
it as well.
respect that. This is really good for the solo
The
players.
Windcaller is a new horn-shaped shell that players can blow into to summon the power of the winds. So imagine the scenario that you're heading fully into the wind and you're either chasing someone or you're trying to get away from someone. Now you can use this tool to blow wind into your sails and go even
What?
beyond full billow in speed.
Players can also use it to kind of knock players back off their ship or on land, so they can kind of target a player, blow into the wind collar, and it will throw them back into the air.
You can use
What?
it as a means of propulsion for yourself in the water, but also for rowing boats. So you can either
Oh my
use it
gosh.
while you're in the water swimming and you'll blast along like a really fast water boatman, or you can stand on a rowing boat and blast it out the back like
This is
a
the
speedboat,
greatest thing they've
basically.
added.
You can put out fires and you can do it quickly. So you
Put
can
out
just essentially
fires.
Walk around your entire ship.
That is a
caught on
very
fire,
cool
and
cool
just put
aspect
out
to
all the
this.
fires as you walk around.
And they
Wow.
can even use it to like stop their fall damage. Like say you're falling a great distance.
No
and you
way.
Use the wind collar below you, like cushion your fall, so you're like land safe.
Bro, that's
There
sick.
is like a finite charge for how long the wind collar can last for, so you have to use it wisely.
He said there's a charge, so that's very it's not going to be
Theme 12
broken.
also introduces zip lines onto several of the islands.
Nice zip
around Sea of
lines.
Thieves.
Very
So
cool.
You may have seen these as they debuted in the Monkey Island tall tale.
Very cool
And they're a
having
really
zip lines
fun
now.
and
That's a great
exhilarating way to traverse.
great
It's
addition.
really cool to be able to bring those.
Just
to the wider
something
Sea of
simple,
Thieves world.
easy
So we've
to
been
get the
looking
people
across all the
started, you know?
islands of the Sea of Thieves and looking at the most ideal places to kind of mix up the traversal opportunities within all of the islands to add these zip lines across them. So we've added zip lines to like the outpost to get down to your ship quickly. We've added them to the skeleton forts that allow you to kind of zip line between two positions to kind of escape the skeletons or get close to them when they first spawn, or just general kind of zip lines across the islands for like fast traversal.
You can bring
moving
treasure?
chests around the islands quickly.
For example, on Ancient Spire Outpost now, you've got to clunk down some cliffs in order to get to your ship. Now you'll be able to just go and get on the zip line and go flying all the way down to the jetty next to your ship.
So alongside adding completely
Wow.
brand new tools,
That's
to
cool.
the Sea of
That's
Thieves
cool.
sandbox, there's also the opportunity for us to go back and add completely brand new functionality to existing tools.
So another cool new feature that we're adding for Season 12 is the ability to balance on harpoon lines. So you can shoot that harpoon line at another ship or another island and then jump onto it and then like balance across.
Dude.
Depending on the angle in which you fire the harpoon, it'll either be like too steep to climb up it, but if you're on the other end, you can actually jump on the harpoon line and like slide down it really quickly back to your ship.
We're really confident that
Wow.
will lead to some really inventive
That is
fireboarding
awesome.
tactics out there in the sandbox, as well as giving you new ways to traverse the islands.
With all this that we're adding in season
That's
12,
insane,
it
bro.
gives players more opportunities to create those stories as we're really enriching the sandbox of every session.
So we're always really excited to add new tools and mechanics to Sea of Thieves, but we're always mindful that we want to make sure that the game's health is in a really good position as well. That the integrity.
This is
of
all
Sea of
when
Thieves is there to
PlayStation
operate.
gets the game.
And since we're adding new
So
weapons
they're
in
going to
Sea of
feel
Thieves,
all of
we're
this for the
very
first
mindful
time.
that
It's going to be
we
crazy.
want to ensure that the hit registration of our
That's
game is
insane.
as rock solid as it can be. And this is an ongoing thing for us as a development team. We're constantly putting time and effort into this area to try and make it as robust as possible.
In the past, we've borrowed time from feature teams to address issues in the core experience, but it's always taken a back seat to the features that those teams are working on. In 2024, this is changing. We're securing a dedicated team to focus on the health of the game, bringing fixes and improvements to the things that matter most to our players as soon as they're ready as part of our regular monthly updates.
Wow.
This is going to be a key focus for the team this year. We want your Sea of Thieves experience to be the best that it can be.
So they have a
Adding
whole
loadout
team
choices
just to
as
get the
part of
shitty
upcoming
stuff that we don't want to deal with out of the
shows our
way.
commitment to
Perfect.
making encounters between players a more dynamic and fun experience. But crucially, this all has to operate on a stable combat system. We know that there's still plenty of work to do here, but this remains a top priority for our team. March's update delivered Easy Anti-Cheat, an industry-leading anti-cheat solution designed by Epic. This solution evolves over time, keeping up with cheat developers, blocking them at every turn. This is really, though, just the first step at improving the player experience here in Sea of Thieves.
We want to focus this year on making Sea of Thieves play better than ever before, whether that be improving the performance of the game across the variety of hardware it runs on, ensuring that it's a safe place to play with a focus on cheating, but also ensuring that our hit registration is as reliable as possible in all of your adventures out there in the sandbox.
Okay, season 13, let's see.
So Captain
Flameheart, I knew it.
Staple.
I knew it.
Character of Sea of Thieves for many years, appearing in our novels and appearing in our
Is he gonna have his own island?
Tales and expanded fiction. With season 13, this brings the return of Captain Flameheart.
He's back.
To the Sea of Thieves.
The boy's back.
As Flameheart has been resurrected, so has his Burning Blade ship, and it's back in more monstrous and terrifying form than ever before. So
my
we've
God.
reimagined it for season 13, and it looks incredible. It almost looks like a living entity itself.
So traditionally, world events have been at set locations throughout the world. The Burning Blade is a little different. The Burning Blade is a ship, and therefore moves around the world.
But the twist is, when you've defeated the ship, you have the option to board it and pledge yourself and your crew to Flameheart, enter into his service, and become the crew of the Burning Blade. Essentially becoming a player-created world event yourselves.
So obviously we have to go in big with this one. At a base, it is larger and more formidable than any ship we've seen on the waves.
Oh my
The
God.
ship has 10 cannons. It has a statue room dedicated to Flameheart at the back.
Oh my
it has
God.
a balcony where Flameheart likes to take in the view every morning with
This
his
is
coffee.
crazy.
And most importantly, it's got a massive flamethrower at the front.
Players will
What?
be able to pull a lever on their ship and fire 2 massive balls of fire
No
out
way.
the front of their ship, which is really interesting because we've never actually had an offensive weapon that's frontal facing before. So I think this is going to create some really
This
interesting
literally
dynamics in
changes
combat
everything.
situations.
This is the
So
craziest
once
thing.
you take over the Burning Blade, you are on this really powerful warship, and
Oh
you
my
have
God.
a skeleton crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade because the skeletons will come to your aid.
So you could have skeletons repairing while you're on the cannons
You
firing
have
at enemies.
skeletons helping you?
But it's not just about sailing around the world, which of course you can do. It's
Wow.
about completing orders in service of Captain Flameheart. So around the world, there'll be numerous skeleton camps.
You'll notice the Reapers have been conducting excavations
That
on
is
the surface,
sick.
and they've been dragging up all sorts of ancient artifacts and ancient
That's
secrets
so
from below the
cool.
surface.
Underground, there's basically a chamber with a prism that the players can control to draw out constellations on the ceiling in order to help the ritual come to completion and get that knowledge of the ancients.
Wow.
Each of these temples contains the secrets of the ancients, secrets that Flameheart wants above anything else. And as
This
part of taking
game
control of the
is
ship,
changing.
you'll be able to sail around the world, visit these ancient temples deep below these skeleton camps, engaging new puzzle gameplay, discover treasures, but what you're really after is the Orb of Secrets, a new treasure artifact that Flameheart wants.
Wow.
Collecting these secrets will add tribute to the Burning Blade ship.
Tribute. Okay.
The more tribute that you collect,
Gotcha.
the more value will be aboard the Burning Blade.
Okay.
You will lose the Burning Blade if it sinks or when you choose to go and cash that tribute into Flameheart. So it's really up to you how long you think you can hold on to it.
Gotcha.
With that risk reward, because everybody in the world is going
That
to be coming
ship
for you. They're
looks
gonna know
so
you're in there
sick.
and know you've got high
They-
value. So it really becomes this dynamic player-created
I
world
can't
event
even, bro.
with players
I
versus
cannot.
players in the sandbox.
So even though you can visit these
Look at how it
skeleton
looks.
camps while in
That
control
ship
of the
is
Burning Blade,
wild.
it's not only tightly wedded to that new gameplay. Players can also visit them anytime in their adventures. So should players visit these skeleton camps when they're not the crew of the Burning Blade, the skeletons won't be too happy
Oh,
that you've found
gosh.
a way inside these camps, and you'll be engaging in a combat-focused encounter to discover its secrets.
What's really exciting about Season 13 is the interplay of the features and the way that they'll bring players together and combine to
Look at
create
how
new
much
stories.
bigger
So
the
when
ship
you're the crew
is.
of the Burning Blade who wants to protect it, or
It's
everyone else
massive.
wants to take it down and steal
Wow,
that value,
that is
everything
insane.
in Season 13 will bring you together.
Season 14. Bro, they just keep going. That's crazy. That is
So towards
insane.
the end of the year, we have Season 14, and while it's
Oh my gosh.
very early for us to talk about, we wanted to share some of their thinking here because
Yeah, get some
it is
thoughts out there.
Totally aligned with this vision for what 2024 can
This is going to be
be.
sick.
Laser focus
Laser.
on the sandbox and mechanics that
Laser.
add to the variety of stories you can encounter in Sea of Thieves.
Internally, we're referring to Season 14 as Pirates of Mischief. Sea of Thieves has always had this playful, mischievous, and funny sense of humour. And with Season 14, we're expanding on that. The two main areas that we're exploring are new ways to stealth and new ways to cause mischief in the world.
So I think a real
Stealth
aspect
and mischief.
of the Sea of Thieves experience that we haven't
Okay.
dived too deep into previously is the idea of being a stealthy pirate.
So when you
Talking.
think about stealth in Sea of
Stuff
Thieves
like
and
that.
enhancing that, imagine being able to crouch and move around the world silently, or the ability to hang off the side of an enemy's ship.
When we were having these initial
Oh, no.
conversations about season 14, the first thing I thought of was the cardboard boxes in Metal Gear Solid. Could we allow players to climb into chests, and if they choose, they can actually scuttle around with their little legs out the bottom?
Oh my
And
gosh.
also, if they choose to, you know, keep the ruse up, could other players come along and pick them up like a normal loot chest or treasure chest or whatever, and take it onto their ship?
So another cool thing that we've been working
This
on
is
the
chaotic.
blow dart, which is another new weapon that players can wield from the armory and use that to kind of
New
sneak
weapon.
aboard enemy
Another
ships
one.
and fire kind of these custom darts into players. That
Blow
will do
darts is like,
different
that's-
effects.
So imagine a blow dart that tracks whatever it sticks to, whether that's a ship, a chest, an item, a player.
That's
Ones
pretty
that can
cool.
Potentially like lure skeletons to like a specific position, so you can throw a firebomb in there, or you know, explode a gunpowder keg, or darts that can trigger specific sound effects, which is quite evil and cunning. Where you
Oh
could
no.
board an enemy ship and shoot the capstan and it sounds like it's dropping, or shoot the ladders and it sounds like someone's climbing up them.
And then
Wow.
thinking about some of the ways that we want to add more mischief to the world, one of these is the idea of traps.
So much like the kind of thunder bombs
Traps.
or fire bombs, we've been thinking about them being this kind of throwable trap that players can kind of throw into the world. Think of it like a spring trap that players can place on the islands to trap skeletons on a bounty or on a fort, or they could place it at the top of their ladders to prevent players from boarding their ships and get caught in this trap.
Along with these, we're also bringing a really exciting new tool, and it's the grapple gun.
Grapple
which
gun. This is
a
crazy.
dual-purpose rifle.
This is
So It allows
crazy.
you to traverse the environment much quicker because you're able to.
Look at he just
grapple
got up there like in
yourself
2
up to a ledge,
seconds.
for example. But you
That's
can also
insane.
harpoon items.
Harpoon
and
loot?
Other players in.
So some of the
Bro.
new cool uses we've seen from the grapple gun in our early
Bro.
playtests are, you know, players firing themselves out of the cannon towards another ship to try and board them, and perhaps overcooking it and then using the grapple gun to fire it at the
Oh
deck
my
and propel
gosh, look at how
themselves
sick
down,
that is.
or jumping off their ship to like an oncoming ship and then using the grapple gun to kind of grapple up and onto their ship so that they can board them.
So
and
boarding is
drop
hella
anchor
easy.
or have a fight with them.
To
Essentially.
make sure that the grapple gun is balanced, it does have ammunition. You'll have arrowheads. and These
Arrowheads.
essentially break off when you successfully use the grapple gun,
Gotcha.
meaning you can't
That's good.
continuously keep grappling. There is a skill to using
That's
the
very
gun
good. That's a
successfully,
Thank
and
you.
accurately,
Very
and
nice.
efficiently.
So when we think about 2024, we really think about getting to the very heart of what makes Sea of Thieves great. That is your stories, powered by that
I mean, this
design
is
philosophy
out of this
tools.
world. This is
Season 12, 13,
Wow.
and 14.
Season
are
12,
fully
very cool.
explored
Season
and giving
13
you new options,
blew
new
my
tools,
mind.
fundamentally new
Very,
possibilities
very
that
cool
make this
stuff. And
game
it shows that they can do this type of
I
stuff.
think when you look at the year ahead for Sea of Thieves, our plans for Season 12, Season 13, and Season 14,
Crazy.
it's kind of making this shift away from
Insane.
these big kind of systemic changes to Sea of Thieves and returning back to the core of what makes Sea of Thieves so special, the
That's
heart of
the-
Sea of Thieves, about
Bro, that's insane.
giving players new tools to create new stories. out
Wow.
there in the world.
We're ultimately shaking up the meta, giving players new tools to learn and master. And I can't wait to see what combinations
Wow, wow,
players
wow.
start settling on before we shake it back up again.
While everything that you're seeing today is still work in progress and
Work in-
possibly
yeah.
subject to change in
Yeah.
some ways, we will be giving more insights onto how these things are developing as we come
This is
closer to
very
launch
cool.
for each of them.
With the richness of all these new seasons, and of course, PlayStation Pirates joining us as well, it is such an exciting year for Sea of Thieves in 2024.
Bro, That was insane. If you did enjoy watching though, leave a like, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, drop a like. Follow me on Twitch, Vascopy7, and I will see you guys in the next one. Adios.